One of the more common questions when doing Facebook Lives is, what do I talk about? In this video, I'm going to give you a couple different ways you can use funnel scripts to power your ideas and structure for your Facebook Lives. Hey, this is Wyatt with the Creative Habits Podcast. So, ideas for your Facebook Lives. Now, if you're first starting out, of course, you'll want to just go with what you're comfortable with, topics that you've already talked about like millions of times. So, then you'll come back to maybe using funnel scripts in this way. But first off, you want to keep things simple, obviously. Now, once you're comfortable, you can actually use two scripts from funnel scripts. And these two scripts power your ideas, the interest level that you can get from people, and also the structure. Now, funnel scripts has got a ton of scripts you could actually use for this purpose, but we're just going to cover two and keep it simple. In other videos, I'll cover some other ways to use the other scripts. Now, if you still need to get confident on camera, go check out my Facebook Lives Challenge, creativehabitspodcast.com/FB Lives Challenge. Go there and check that out. It'll get you confident on camera. It uses the idea of the obstacle is the way, and it really gets you comfortable on camera so that you're not using a script. You're still saying structure, but you're not using script, and it's a lot of fun, actually. Now, the first script we're looking at is the Seinfeld email idea script. Now, the title says it's for email, but it actually gives you dozens of idea starters, not only for your Facebook Lives, but for other articles, blog posts, and videos. So we're going to go into the script. And after this, I'm going to show you another script you can use to actually power interest for your Facebook Lives. Okay, so here we are in funnel scripts, right? And what's cool is, you only have basically two variables you have to enter. A lot of the other scripts, you've got a lot more variables that you enter. It does end up saving you time, but you have to be patient going through those variables. This one just has two, so it's one of my favorite. Plus, the output gives you tons of ideas, but it also gives you catchy titles for each one. So let me show you this. So check this out. I went ahead and went with the target author, because I can just plug this in pretty simply. This is an example that they have. So I plugged this in, I clicked build, but basically it's the target audience and then the topic your target audience is interested in. This one, author and keyword research. So I clicked build, and these are what I get. Tip content ideas, 11 great keyword research tips for authors. What is your number one time-saving tip for keyword research? Okay. Problem content ideas. What's the number one keyword research time waster authors need to avoid? Okay. So you can go through, and there's a ton of these in here. And then when you find one that you like, let's say this one. What's the biggest keyword research obstacle authors face? You can put it in your basket, and then it'll use that clips. I usually go through and use 3 of these just so I have that to choose from. You could use 3 to 5, and you're just going to play around with these and use them to kind of drive what you're doing. Now, I'm going to switch focus and go to the next script, and these aren't going to necessarily match because the other one talks about headlines. But you can make them match by plugging in the results. I just went with the example results because it was much easier to show you what's going on here. Okay, so now we're on the next one. And this one is the 5-minute webinar script. Now, I love this one because basically it gives you 3 core ideas to share with your audience. And there's tons of examples in here, tons of videos. And webinars are great for keeping interest, but they're often an hour long. That's why I love the 5-minute webinar script. The thing is, if you're using it for a Facebook Live, you probably have to alter it because at the end, you're basically selling something. Now, there are times when you might sell something in your Facebook Live, obviously. For the most part, you're probably not going to. So you want to alter this script a bit. But I went through here. You'll have to, a lot more variables than the last script, obviously. But you go through and you put in your ideas and click build. And there's 3 different versions, which is cool. A 5-minute version, a 2 to 4 minute version, and a 1 to 2 minute version. Okay. And what's cool is that it basically walks you through, and you're not gonna be using the script just by itself. You don't want to just use a script. And I talk about this in the Facebook Live Challenge, but you want to speak organically and use the structure and the ideas within there. And so you're going to have to noodle around with this a little bit to get it so that you're speaking organically. Again, I cover this in the Facebook Live Challenge. So you're going to be using this. And in this one, we're talking about headlines. Okay. And check this out. So the 5-minute version. Now, what's cool about this, the first part is, hey, did you know the most important part of any page on your website is not your offer, your logo, or your header graphic. So let's say you're doing a Facebook Live on headlines. You could take that first line that you've got there and grab pre-interest. So you might have a graphic saying, I'm going live at 3, talking about the most important part of any web page. Hint, it's not your logo, it's not your offer, and it's not your header graphic. So that could give pre-interest, and people are like, ooh, cool, I'm going to check that out. So that gives you interest, and you get that just from the first line of the webinar script. Now, if you look down here, it says, I know it sounds crazy because we're so used to hearing about layout and formatting and graphics. And while that is important, I'm going to share with you 3 secrets today that's going to revolutionize the way you look at every page on your funnel forever. Now, you wouldn't, again, read that. I read it because I didn't prepare it in the same way that I would if I'm doing a Facebook Live. But you don't necessarily want to read it. You want to speak it organically, but it gives you so many great little hooks in here. It goes on, and you can use bits and pieces from all of this in your Facebook Live. You will have to alter this a little bit because it does pitch an offer at the end. Now, when you use this, you can obviously add in a bit more. You can go longer than obviously 5 minutes. A lot of people say 10 minutes is a good point for which to do a Facebook Live. Other people say 5 minutes. Either one could be right. It just depends on your audience. What's good is to go through and do this in a way that's organic, but then add in stories. Just add in one story to capture their interest, give them an epiphany, and make your Facebook Lives, hands down, really good. So I love these 2 scripts for doing that. Again, Funnel Scripts has a lot more scripts in there that you can use, and I'll cover that in some later videos. But if you want to check out Funnel Scripts, go to creativehabitspodcast.com/FS. And it'll take you in there. You can see what it's all about. What's cool is they have a special right now, this being May 24th. They have a special right now where you can buy it as a one-time cost instead of it being a reoccurring cost. That's huge. Now, the one caveat is it's not going to replace a copywriter. Now, if you have a good copywriter, it's not meant to replace them. It will teach you copywriting and will give you a ton of ideas. And instead of starting from a blank page, you're going to start with those and noodle around with it. It gives you that structure and those ideas to play with. And it's really worth it. For a lifetime deal, it's really worth it. You'll be able to use it right off. One of the recommendations that Jim Edwards, the person who created it, recommends doing is to go through and basically look at all your titles. Your current titles and your blog posts and whatnot. And he's got a title generator. And when you use this and upgrade this a little bit, you'll capture a bit more interest. If you're doing regular YouTube videos, you can go through and have some really catchy headlines to use. So highly recommend it. Go check it out. creativehabitspodcast.com/FS. And thanks a lot for watching. Again, I'll have some more on these. I'm doing a mini series, and I'll have some more that I'll show you about using funnel scripts in a lot of different ways. So stay tuned. If you want more on funnel scripts, I have the series coming out and other ideas. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.